Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get straight to the insights you need. When you think of the Amish, what often springs to mind are those iconic images. Horse-drawn buggies, plain dress, maybe no electricity. It's a striking contrast to our hyper-connected world, and it's easy to just think, oh, they're just old-fashioned. But today, we're going far beyond that surface-level perception to explore something much more, well, profound.
That's right. Our mission today is to truly understand the complex, deeply intentional choices and the profound beliefs that guide Amish life. We're getting to the why behind their unique culture, moving past simple observations to grasp their, deliberate way of being.
And we have a rich tapestry of sources to draw from, covering everything from their unwritten rules in education to their surprising engagement with technology, their successful businesses.
It's fascinating history.
And how they navigate a modern world that is constantly encroaching. It's all here to help you get truly well-informed. Yeah.
The central question we're unpacking is this. How do the Amish manage to navigate the immense pressures of modern society while maintaining such a thriving, distinct identity? And perhaps even more importantly, what can their deliberate approach teach us about living intentionally in our own increasingly complex world?
So let's begin by diving into what truly governs their daily lives. The Ordnung. Many outsiders find this concept a bit mysterious. What exactly is it, and what's its core purpose?
Right. Well, the Ordnung is essentially the unwritten set of rules and regulations that dictates everyday Amish life. The word itself means order or discipline in German, and it forms the very foundation of their Christian community.
Okay, order. That makes sense.
Yeah, and its primary purpose isn't just about control. It's about upholding that community and serving as a fundamental test of membership. From their perspective, a community without clear boundaries where individuals can simply do as they please, well, it wouldn't be worth belonging to. It's about collective identity.
That immediately challenges our modern emphasis on individualism. So it's not just about setting boundaries, but about fostering a deeper spiritual life. How do they see the Ordnung guiding them in that way?
Absolutely. The Amish believe these rules help members live more Christian lives. Now, while the specific dictates of the Ordnung aren't typically found verbatim in the Bible, they are consistently based on scriptural principle.
Okay, so principle over literal text for these specific rules.
Exactly. For instance, plain dress is derived from biblical passages about humility, right? But the specific restrictions on clothing color or, say, buggy style aren't explicit in Scripture. Those particular rules, however, are intended to prevent pride and envy within the community. They foster a shared, humble spirit.
It sounds like submitting to the Ordnung is seen as a way to demonstrate that humility, which they view as a key Christ-like trait. It actively helps individuals subvert individualism and arrogance for the greater good of the community. What kinds of things does this Ordnung actually forbid or require in daily life?
It's quite comprehensive. On the prohibition side, things like public electricity, suing in court, owning certain technologies like automobiles or televisions,
Right.
running for political office, and divorce are categorically prohibited. Scholar Donald Craybill highlights these as absolute no-goes that would, disrupt their way of life.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting for many people. It's easy to assume this is a blanket ban on all technology or all interaction with the modern world. But there's a fascinating nuance here, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. There's a crucial distinction. The Ordnung often differentiates between ownership and usage.
Ownership versus usage, okay.
Yeah. For example, Amish individuals are generally allowed to use vehicles as passengers, or even rent an automobile for business or long-distance travel, but they cannot own one.
Ah, I see.
Similarly, an Amish employee might use a computer in a non-Amish work environment, but they are prohibited from owning one at home. Some builders working as contractors even have mobile phones fixed permanently in their trucks for work contact, but they don't carry them for personal use.
So it's a very deliberate line they draw.
Yeah.
Very specific. And what about universal moral principles, like, say, lying or cheating? Are those explicitly listed in the Ordnung?
No, generally not, because they're understood to be off-limits without explicit inclusion. Those are universally regarded as sinful, so there's no need to list them within the Ordnung's specific cultural rules.
That makes sense. So beyond what it forbids, what does the Ordnung actually require?
Well, it dictates specifics like the style and cut of clothing, hairstyles, carriage design.
Right.
And even that marriage must be between baptized church members only. And these rules can actually vary quite a bit from one church district to another, and even between different Amish affiliations.
Really? Like how?
Well, you might see some groups using one suspender versus two, or women wearing specific styles of prayer coverings, for example. Small details, but significant markers of identity.
That variation really highlights that it's not a monolithic set of rules imposed from above. So how do these rules come about, and do they ever change?
They do change, but very slowly. The Ordnung in any given district is really a product of years of history and shared experience. Some universal prohibitions, like the ban on telephones in the home, emerged long ago due to shared concerns about a technology's dangers to community life. But local contexts can also develop different rules, and what's acceptable in one district might be prohibited in a neighboring one.
And it's not a bishop dictating everything from on high, right? How does that decision-making process work?
That's a common misconception, yeah. The bishop doesn't just impose rules top-down. His main power is in deciding which issues will be brought to vote in a members' meeting. If enough members feel strongly about something, it can generate significant pressure on the leadership.
So it's more bottom-up, in a way.
Or at least requires consensus. Sometimes they might even take a wait-and-see approach with a new technology, observing its impact on another district before making a decision. This conservative approach values the decisions of their forefathers over, innovation or passing fads.
That's a powerful way to manage change without being entirely static. How do they ensure everyone remains unified around these rules?
The Ordnung is reviewed orally twice a year before communion service during what's called the council meeting, the Ordnungsgimi. Members are asked for their concurrence, ensuring the congregation remains unified over the rules for communion to take place. This ensures buy-in and shared responsibility.
What happens if someone breaks these rules? It sounds like there's a clear process for addressing deviations.
There is. If an Amish person acquires forbidden technology, or maybe flaunts dress codes, breaks business rules, or commits universal sins like cheating or adultery, the church ministry will visit them. They'll be asked to stop the behavior or get rid of the forbidden item.
And if they don't?
If they continue, they can be excommunicated, known as being in the ban. This also involves the practice of meidung, or social shunning.
Shunning sounds incredibly severe. What's its purpose? Is it purely punitive, or is there a deeper intent?
It's definitely severe, but it's not seen as punishment for its own sake. The purpose of shunning, as one Amishman described it, is a kind of ritualistic reminder of having gone astray. It's done reluctantly, apparently. Its deeper purpose is for the salvation of the deviant soul. And the good news is that restoration is always possible.
Always possible.
Yes. After repentance and confession, an excommunicated member can typically be reinstated into the church after about 6 weeks. It truly highlights their deep commitment to community and the individual's spiritual well-being, even when enforcing strict boundaries.
So if the Ordnung is the internal compass guiding their community, how does that community then orient itself when confronted with the immense external pressures of our rapidly evolving modern world, especially through technology and business?
That's where their selective approach truly shines. It's a common misconception that they simply reject all technology.
Right, that's what most people think.
Yeah, but they don't view technology as inherently evil. What they fear is that if left untamed, it could undermine their worthy traditions, accelerate assimilation into mainstream society, and introduce foreign values.
I can see how things like mass media and constant connectivity would pose a direct threat to community cohesion.
Precisely. Mass media and cars in particular are greatly feared for eroding community ties. Cars, for example, would bring greater mobility, potentially pulling the community apart geographically, whereas the horse and buggy transportation helps keep the community anchored, preserves those vital local ties.
This brings us to some of those riddles outsiders often wonder about, like why public electricity is mostly forbidden, but battery-powered devices are often allowed. What's the underlying logic there?
It comes back to control and independence, really. Electricity from public utility lines is largely forbidden because it connects them to the grid, to the outside world.
To a system they don't control.
Exactly. But battery electricity is often allowed because it's more local, controllable, and keeps them independent. Amish use batteries for things like lights on buggies, calculators, fans, even cash registers in their shops.
Okay.
Solar energy is also used increasingly for charging and powering some appliances, and they readily buy modern tools like gas grills, shop tools, farm equipment. Amish mechanics even build new machines sometimes, adapting them to fit their cultural guidelines.
So the riddle isn't a contradiction, it's a deliberate philosophy. It's about mastering the technology, not letting it master them.
That's a great way to put it.
That's a powerful approach that really resonates with the idea of digital minimalism or even just conscious consumption that many of us are exploring today.
It truly is. These distinctions, which might seem arbitrary to outsiders, like the difference between 12-volt battery electricity and 110-volt public electricity, or why a telephone is forbidden in the home but sometimes allowed for work, they're actually important cultural adaptations. They've helped the Amish slow the pace of social change and keep worldliness at bay, demonstrating their goal to control technology rather than become its slave. It offers a profound lesson, I think, on how to define your values and then align your technological choices to uphold them.
Beyond technology, the Amish have also shown remarkable adaptability and success in business. We often think of them as strictly farmers, but that's changing, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. While farming remains central to many, a significant number of Amish have shifted to non-agricultural work. This is largely due to rising land prices, their growing population, and maybe a decreased interest in farming among some youth.
So what are they doing instead?
They are now highly successful builders, roofers, cabinet makers, bakers, furniture makers, lots of craft and trade skills.
And the numbers are impressive. Their businesses boast a remarkable 95% success rate after 5 years. I mean, compared to about 45% for typical English startups. That's huge.
It is a huge disparity.
What are the underlying principles contributing to that phenomenal success?
Well, several factors contribute. First, they generally restrict business size. It's uncommon to employ more than 30 people.
Why is that?
It helps maintain humility and a tight-knit team focus. Successful owners might even sell parts of their company if it grows too large, prioritizing community values over just unrestrained growth.
Interesting.
And as we touched on, there are greater allowances for technology in business settings than at home.
So a builder might convert electric equipment to pneumatic or hydraulic power, or use solar panels or diesel-powered machines?
Right, and some even use computers and internet, but usually in non-Amish office environments or through intermediaries.
So for connecting with outside customers, how do they market themselves if they're not typically online at home?
Good question. For marketing, they largely rely on non-Amish partners and third-party services for internet marketing and website maintenance. This allows them to connect with outside customers without compromising their home life.
Makes sense.
And crucially, their business values. Things like honesty, ethics, trust, and viewing money as a tool rather than the ultimate goal that contributes significantly to their customer relationships and overall success.
It's a reminder that strong ethical relationships can be more impactful than aggressive growth strategies.
Absolutely. A valuable lesson for any entrepreneur, Amish or otherwise.
Definitely. Now let's turn our attention to raising the next generation. How do the Amish ensure their children carry on this unique way of life, especially in a world with very different educational norms? It starts with their distinct education system.
Their education is quite distinct, yeah. They attend one-room schoolhouses, often built by the community on donated land. These schools typically have 30 to 35 students, often siblings and cousins, and are kept local so children can travel by foot or scooter. Pretty practical.
And the teachers are usually young, unmarried Amish women, correct, with an 8th grade education themselves.
That's right, typically between 18 and 22 years old. They teach all 8 grades, often with older students helping the younger ones. School starts at 8:30 a.m. with Bible reading, the Lord's Prayer, and hymns. But formal religious instruction is actually handled by parents at home.
So what's on the curriculum and what's the philosophy behind their teaching style, especially compared to what we're used to in public education?
The emphasis is really on the basics: reading, math, writing, good penmanship. They also learn history, geography, social studies, art, and some science. And languages are key. Students learn 3. Pennsylvania Dutch, which is the dialect of German used at home and often in worship.
Okay.
High German for formal worship, and English for dealing with the outside world for business.
3 languages by 8th grade is pretty impressive.
It is, and their education values collaboration and cooperation, actively discouraging competition. They stress accuracy, correctness, and memorization, which is a bit different from public schools that often focus more on speed and critical thinking, maybe.
And then what happens after 8th grade?
Formal schooling ends around age 14 or 15. Education then becomes informal, preparing them for adult life through agricultural training, craftsmanship, lots of hands-on learning, and apprenticeships within the community.
This prepares them to thrive within their community. But then comes a period that often fascinates and is frequently sensationalized by outsiders. Rumspringa.
Ah, yes, Rumspringa.
What exactly is it, and what's its true purpose?
Well, Rumspringa simply refers to adolescence, typically starting around age 16. During this time, youth are no longer under full parental control, and crucially, since they haven't been baptized yet, they aren't yet under church authority either.
So media often depicts this as a time of wild rebellion and breaking free. Is that accurate?
Mostly no. Media portrayals are often greatly exaggerated. While some youth do experiment with worldly activities, maybe cars, movies, non-Amish clothes, most typically live at home and many adhere pretty closely to traditional behavior.
So what do they do?
Their traditional youth activities include things like volleyball, swimming, ice skating, picnics, hiking, and large outdoor supper parties. The most common gatherings are singings, where groups meet on Sunday evenings, sing German hymns and English gospel songs, and then just hang out, talk, and eat.
So it's not a free-for-all as much as a profound period of discernment and personal choice.
Yeah.
What's a key purpose of this period for them?
Finding a mate is a major part of Rumspringa. Dating activities vary by community and are often quite discreet.
How does that usually start?
It might begin simply with a young man offering a young lady a ride home in his buggy after a Sunday evening singing. Couples then exchange letters, spend weekends together, usually with the intent of marriage. Parental blessing is required, and the young man eventually approaches the deacon to announce their intentions.
And it ends with?
Rumspringa officially ends with baptism into the church. This signifies their mature, adult commitment to the Amish way of life. It's a powerful moment of personal agency and choosing to belong to the community.
That makes the continuation of their way of life a deeply personal decision for each generation. It's not just assumed.
Not at all. It has to be chosen.
This brings us to how the Amish have historically and currently engaged with the outside world, especially with the rise of tourism.
Right. Their story in America began relatively quietly. The first group of Amish arrived on the ship Charming Nancy in 1737, seeking religious freedom. For about 200 years, they lived quietly, largely invisible among their rural neighbors.
So when did they become famous, so to speak? When did the rest of America really take notice?
That changed dramatically in 1937. Amish in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, protested local plans to demolish their one-room schools for consolidated elementary schools. Some Amish even went to jail over this. This intense conflict caught the attention of the New York Times, and boom, they were nationally known for the first time.
Wow. Over schools. And despite their efforts to remain separate, their population has grown remarkably since then.
Indeed. From about 6,000 in 1900, their population swelled to over 318,000 by 2017, doubling roughly every 20 years.
Doubling every 20 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible growth.
It is. They are now found in 31 states and 3 Canadian provinces. And this growth has also shifted perceptions. In the 1950s, scholars like Gertrude Enders Huntington thought the Amish were backward and maybe doomed to disappear. But as America urbanized and became more tech-driven, people began to admire their simplicity, their security, humility, that strong family focus.
It's fascinating how our society's changing values can reframe what's seen as backward into something admirable and even, well, aspirational.
It really is a complete turnaround in some ways.
So their once perceived backwardness became an asset in the public eye. But with that fame comes tourism, which seems like a double-edged sword. What are the complexities of that intense interaction?
It certainly is a double-edged sword. Places like Lancaster County and Holmes County, Ohio, see millions of tourists annually. The drawbacks are significant. Clogged roads, unwanted attention Amish are often treated like exhibits in a zoo, frankly, photographed without permission.
Yeah, I can imagine that's tough.
And even trespassing on school property, leading some schools and businesses to put up no trespassing or no photos, no tourists signs.
But there are benefits too, right? It's not all negative.
Correct. Tourism brings significant money into the local economy, benefiting both Amish and non-Amish businesses, quilt makers, food sellers, furniture makers, you name it. And interestingly, outsiders marveling at Amish ways can also paradoxically strengthen the Amish sense of identity and appreciation for their own lifestyle, as they see their values reflected back with admiration.
Huh. An unexpected reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And some Amish actively participate in the tourism industry, despite the potential downsides.
Yes. Some run tourist-oriented businesses, offer home visits for meals or overnight stays, sell goods at roadside stands. There are even Amish-operated horse-drawn tours of, get this, exotic animal farms in some areas.
Exotic animals.
Yeah. And twist activities include exhibits like Amish Acres, buggy rides, often guided by Amish, and educational centers like Mennohoff that explain Anabaptist history and beliefs. Opinions on tourism vary, of course, often depending on an individual's occupation. A farmer might dislike the traffic more than a shop owner who directly profits from it. Some actually enjoy the chance for interesting conversations.
And speaking of that interaction, I've heard the Amish themselves find a surprising amount of humor in tourists' ignorance.
Oh, they do. It provides a bit of a release valve for the pressure of constant attention. They tell jokes amongst themselves about, Holstein cows giving white milk and Jersey cows giving chocolate milk. Or a visitor asking how long it takes for flesh to grow back after cows are butchered. Things like that. It's a way they manage the absurdities of their unique situation.
Those are pretty good. It shows a resilience and a distinct perspective. Now let's delve into the unwritten faith that underpins everything you've discussed. We've talked about the ordinance guiding behavior, but what are the deep-seated spiritual beliefs that truly fuel this entire way of life?
At the heart of it, really, is a concept called Gelassenheit.
The Gelassenheit, okay.
Yeah, it translates roughly to submission or yielding to a higher power, to God's will. This isn't about blind obedience in a negative sense. It teaches humility, the surrender of personal will to God and the community's needs. It means a deep dedication to family and community that fundamentally supersedes individual desires.
This concept of submission runs counter to so much of modern individualism, where personal autonomy is often paramount. What does Gelassenheit actually look like in practice, and why is it so central to their identity?
Well, it manifests in their principle of nonconformity, meaning keeping separate from worldly influences. This is why they make deliberate choices about rejecting cars, televisions, and other modern conveniences. It's a way to protect themselves from materialism, pride, and worldly distractions that could erode their communal bonds.
So the whole lifestyle is an expression of Gelassenheit.
In many ways, yes. It's a statement of commitment to a simpler, less distracted life aimed at fostering spiritual growth within the community.
And we also see a profound emphasis on community and mutual aid.
Absolutely. They live by the philosophy of bearing each other's burdens. A classic visible example is the barn raising.
Right, the iconic barn raising.
Exactly. The entire community comes together to help a family build or rebuild a barn, sometimes in a single day. It's more than just physical labor. It's a powerful symbol of unity, love, and service to one another. Their community isn't just people living nearby. It's a family that relies on each other for all forms of support, material and spiritual.
And the nickel mine school shooting incident in 2006 truly highlighted their deep belief in forgiveness and pacifism. It resonated globally.
It was a profound demonstration of their core faith under the most horrific circumstances. Their beliefs teach that revenge and anger have no place. They famously forgave the shooter and even reached out to his family, offering support. It showcased an extraordinary commitment to nonviolence and seeking God's will, even in unimaginable pain, a powerful testament to the strength of their convictions.
You mentioned earlier that their faith is largely orally transmitted, focused on the practical example of Jesus rather than formal theology.
Yeah.
How then do they maintain such a consistent theological foundation across generations and communities?
That's a good point. They rely on foundational historical documents, principally the Dordrecht Confession of Faith.
Dordrecht.
Yes. It was written by Dutch Mennonites back in 1632, organized into 18 articles. All Amish churches accept it, and it's used to instruct baptismal candidates.
And what does it cover? What's in those 18 articles?
It addresses core Christian doctrine like creation, sin, salvation, baptism, eternal life, standard things. But more specifically for the Amish and other Anabaptist groups, it highlights key themes relevant to their practice. The prohibition against revenge, humility, caring for the needy, refusal to swear oaths.
So nonviolence, humility.
Exactly. Also the ritual of foot washing, and crucially church discipline through excommunication, ban and shunning, Meidung. This document is foundational to their oral spirituality, serving as a guiding principle, as someone put it. You can love the faith or hate it, but you can't stay in it if you break with it or defy it. It's how they ensure a unified identity rooted in shared beliefs.
This deep dive really reveals how the Amish way of life, guided by the ordinum and these profound beliefs, involves a constant, deeply intentional set of choices. From their selective use of technology to their unique educational system and their unwavering community-first approach, they truly engage with the modern world, but very much on their own terms.
Their story is far from a relic of a bygone era. It's a living, thriving example of a community that has found a way to maintain its identity and values by prioritizing what truly matters to them. They demonstrate remarkable resilience and adaptability, actually.
And it leaves us with a provocative thought, perhaps. The Amish demonstrate a society that values obedience as a sacred obligation. and maintains unity by limiting, to some extent, debate, dissent, or radical experimentation. In a world increasingly defined by individual autonomy and continuous questioning, what might we gain, or perhaps even lose, by observing their unwavering commitment to a collective identity and purpose? Something to think about.